Rams men's basketball has returned to the Dome, searching for another AAC victory against the St. Andrews University Knights here on the Rams Digital Sports Network. Hello, everybody. Bailey Engel here. Happy to have you along with us for the third straight day of Rams men's basketball. Well, unfortunately for Bluefield, losing 2 in a row after going down to Allen University in Columbia, South Carolina, losing that game by 16, and then going last night, losing in heartbreaker fashion against the WVU Tech in Beckley, West Virginia. Now trying to sweep the St. Andrews University Knights after beating them pretty soundly back on December 11th, 81-71. And St. Andrews only coming into this game at 3-14 and 3-12 in the AAC, a team that has very much struggled but found some ways to kind of get some better teams nervous. They took Union to overtime back earlier in the season, and then also beat Montreat a couple of days ago when they were ranked back in January. But now the Rams really relying on a new starting lineup here. Jorge Concepcion getting right back into things, but Jeremiah Jenkins really was the star of last night's game. The freshman had 22 points, most of them coming in the second half, but Bluefield had a slow start against the Golden Bears, looking to not do that tonight. David Tripp getting into the starting lineup for Bluefield, not normally a sight you see after David Tripp usually comes in off of the bench. We've also seen Damon Childress get the start for Bluefield, as now Donnell Gooch will make another start for the Rams. The 6'9 junior coming out of Pennsylvania, or rather Wendell, North Carolina, and went to Clarendon College. Well, Jeremiah Jenkins may be one of the more confident players just coming into this game at 5'8". Him and Sean Robinson, two very short point guards. Jenkins at 5'8" and Sean Robinson at 5'5", but Jenkins really the star for Bluefield in that highly contested loss last night. Here comes St. Andrews, though, trying to find some sort of rhythm in this season. Head coached by Randy Hernandez in his third season. Looks like they will send out Ben Twigger as well as Darius Huff, I should say, and then joined by Christian Lathan as well as Jordan Saunders. Rams sending Tyquan Reed out onto the floor as well. Guy that can get it done from beyond the arc, but Bluefield only hit 1 3 in that entire first half after having that slow start last night. Calvin Ahume as well as Donnell Gooch here at midcourt, and Ahume wins the tip-off. St. Andrews in the black going left to right, and Bluefield in the white jerseys. Rams already at 12-8 as the ball goes a ride down the baseline and then swatted away. It will go the way of Bluefield. Now taking the ball up for the Rams will be Jeremiah Jenkins on a shoulder-high dribble on the 5'8 freshman. Passes right wing over to Jorge Concepcion. Rams just working the ball around the arc. They have been disappointed in those past couple of games. Really thought they should have won last night. Dish up top, David Tripp starts to storm down the left baseline. Under the basket now, swings top of the key. Concepcion launches for 3 and misses as the ball bounces on the back arc and rolls into where the training room is here at the Dome. 19:24 on the clock, and it's still all tied up at 0-0. And if you're looking at this St. Andrews team, just a 3-14, 3-11, leading the way for them, Christian Lathan. He has 12.7 points per game, and he had 13 points the last time that Bluefield was able to play against this team. Ahume swings out on the right side, dish down low to the Cameroon native, went out of bounds, and Donnell Gooch able to swat that ball away. It will stay with St. Andrews, though. Well, the 6'3 freshman Ahume will be the big man down low to face off against Donnell Gooch. Pass inbounds for Jordan Saunders as he slaps the ball and just chucks it up in the air for Huff. Well, the Newport News native swings it over to Twigger. Now Twigger returns to Huff, goes down the baseline, scoops with a right hand, and banks it in for the game's first basket. Well, 2-0. Bluefield has to make sure they don't play down to the level of their competition in this one. The Rams coming into that game against Allen were at 3rd in the AAC, and now with a couple of losses could start to move down. But here they are in another conference matchup. Jenkins with the 3, swish from the tie-up of the kick. 3-2 now the score, as now the Rams are starting over with that midcourt press. Swinging out of it, here's Twigger. Feed back in over to Saunders. His pass tip and intercepted by David Tripp. Going right to left, Tripp will underhand it right back to Tyquan Reed. Starts to dribble with authority. Kicks it out over on the right side to Tripp, but nowhere to go, as now Jenkins starts to shuffle back, hearing the commands of his coach Richard Morgan in his 9th season. Jeremiah Jenkins starts to move toward the top of the key. Chest pass Tyquan Reed, crossover dribble, now 10 to shoot. Lifts right side. Jenkins around over to Jorge Concepcion in the corner. Shoulders shake, Euro step, swings out Reed, launches a triple, rattles home. from the left wing, 6-2, and Taekwon Reed hits his first basket of the game. Junior from Goldsboro, North Carolina, now makes it 6-2. 3 on the other end for Twigger. Misses as the dribble is hit high in the air by Ahume. Goes out of bounds, and the Rams get it back. 4-point lead for the Rams. And now they're just trying to get a very crucial win here to get back up a little bit higher in their AAC rankings at 8-5 in conference, 12-8 and an overall record. Jeremiah Jenkins with that crossover dribble starts to shuffle down the far baseline. A one-arm pass over to Jorge Concepcion. Concepcion now has started 3 straight games. The junior out of Chesapeake, Virginia. Taekwon Reed angles down the left side, now swings out to Jenkins. Moonshot 3 from the right corner. He's already hit 2 trays in this game. Now 6 points for the freshman. 9-2, Rams up by 7. Going straight down the lane, swings out right. Twigger launches a 3 and hits it. So now 9-5 now the score. Going down the other end, Tripp under the basket, crossover dribble, passes left wing over to Taekwon Reed. Rams have already hit 3 triples in this game. Here's Jorge Concepcion, a crossover dribble, enters the lane, swings out Reed, pump fake top of the key, down the paint, lost the ball, and picked away by Twigger. Well, Twigger, the guard coming out of Concord, North Carolina. Here's Saunders, or rather that's Kristen Lathan, underhands Huff on a Euro step, he walked. And the young man wearing the headband knew it, as now Bluefield forces another turnover. 9-5 the score, 16:49 on the clock. Well, you see a lot of the football teams start to make their way out to this game. Women's basketball got the win to pull across 2 wins in a row for Corey Mullen's team. And now the Rams men trying to keep up the complete sweep of St. Andrews here this season. Here's Taekwon Reed in the right wing wearing that white headband. Swings on the right side, Jorge Concepcion. A pump fake. Now the junior from Chesapeake with the left-handed dribble. Bounces over to Jeremiah Jenkins. Now steps into a 2. Swirls out of the cup. Tipped in the air by David Tripp, but that'll be a foul called on the junior from Connecticut after he was draped over the back of Darius Huff, the freshman from Newport News. That's the first foul of the game. And the first one on David Tripp. 9-5 the score. Huff pressured off the inbounds pass, finally gets it in over to Saunders. Swings near corner over to Darius Huff, who now bobbles the ball straight into the right wing. Knee-high dribble and starts to switch it around between right hand and left hand. Tripp stepping up in that defense, able to get past it. Lathan right down the middle of the floor, and a foul is called as Lathan entered the perimeter. That's going to be called on Taekwon Reed, his first and the team's second. 16:10 left to go. Be an inbounds pass for Twigger from St. Andrews. Randy Hernandez looking on, his team trying to get that rare AAC win, especially on the road. Twigger bounces into Huff down the right side, angles the pass back out and across the perimeter. Lathan bobbled the ball, now swings over to Twigger, his 3, an air ball from the left corner, and rebounded out of the air by Donnell Gooch. Flat 16 minutes left to go. Concepcion coast to coast and blocked. No goaltending call, and getting a full palm on that ball was Ahume. Now here's Lathan, swings a 3, back iron, bouncing into the hands of Jorge Concepcion on the left side. He has a hard chest-high dribble as he gallivants the ball over to Jeremiah Jenkins. Going straight down the lane, swings out left side, Taekwon Reed pulls the trigger. No good on the 3, and now the rebound hauled in by the freshman from Africa. 9-5, 15.5 minutes left. As the Rams are stepping up that defense. Taking the ball right across midcourt is the senior from Raleigh, Jordan Saunders, carrying the ball in the lane. Huff miss for the putback. It falls for Calvin Ahume. 9-7. The score now only a 2-point deficit. Bluefield has had the tendency in these past couple of games to start out pretty fresh and then kind of lose their way later on in the first half, but this time carrying his way towards the basket, David Tripp, to make it now 11-7. 14:55 left to go, as now it looks like Jordan Saunders will operate a new offense. Well, he has about 5.1 points per game as he bounces in the left elbow for Huff. Pivots into a shot and misses. Bouncing onto the right side over to Reed. Outlets on the other end. Concepcion carries the basket again, and he's blocked by Huff. That's the second time Concepcion has been hacked going up for a basket. Swing out to Trigger. Bounce into Ahume, and he jumps in towards the basket to score. 11-9, it's a 2-point game once again. Jeremiah Jenkins has already hit a pair of 3s in this one, as now he takes the ball over to Concepcion. Rams have hit 3 3-pointers, and that was their first basket, not a 3, from David Tripp. Here's Taekwon Reed in the left wing. Dish pass over to Tripp, goes down the baseline, powering towards the hoop, and now bounces around. Concepcion now, his chance for a three. Not good, as Ahume hauled in the rebound, bouncing into Donnell Gooch. Going right across the timeline, Bluefield up by 2. We've seen about 6 minutes elapsed in this one. A bounce in the right elbow. Huff overheads the ball over into the left wing. Well, Bluefield won by 10 back in December, trying to do even more than that here at home. Ahume powers into the paint, lost the ball, but looked like Donnell Gooch got tied up with a freshman. That'll be the team's 3rd foul, and now with 13:44 remaining in the first half, Ahume will shoot 2. Hard bounces for Ahume. Well, no fouls for St. Andrews yet as the free throw rattles in. Buzzer sounds, and now we have some substitutions. Stan Nelms into the game for Bluefield, and now Jordan Sanders taken off. Replacing him will be Carlos Heath, the junior from Rochester, New York. Ahume trying to go perfect at the line. His second shot, once again true, as it's 11-11, tied up, 13:43. Jeremiah Jenkins and company a little cooled off here as St. Andrews has been able to reject Jorge Concepcion at the rim twice. Pass up top to Stan Nelms. Thought he had that game-winning shot last night before Collins was able to hit it for WVU Tech. One arm pass over to Jesbeck, bobbled it as he goes down the line, hooks with a right hand and misses the layup, as now the rebound is pulled down by Sanders. Almost picked away by Jesbeck as he lofted it into the hands of Reed. Bounced to Concepcion. Sanders got it back though. Ball still loose on the ground. Swung up to Heath, who takes the ball across the timeline. Reed pokes it from behind again, and the Rams are doing a great job of pickpocketing. Reed underhands Concepcion, jumps towards the hoop, and scores with the right hand. 13-11 as JC3 gets his first basket of the game. Rams not going with that full court press as Jorge Concepcion was wondering what was happening right there. But really the heads-up play, Gage Jesbeck able to poke that ball away when St. Andrews fell asleep. Top of the key over on the right side. Here's Sanders, a hard Euro step and a kiss off the glass to tie up the game at 13-13 again. And Richard Morgan still yelling at his team, wondering what their answer is going to be. You can see Richard Morgan, a guy that really wears the emotions on his sleeve. Jenkins under the basket, hard dish, left corner. Reed arcs a tray and hits. 16-13 now the score with 12:15 left to go in the first half. Heath splits the double team straight down the lane, bounces left side. Ahume with a mid-range, and that one almost hit the roof of the dome, but still went in through the basket, nothing but net. Still a 1-point lead for the Rams at 16-15 with a flat 12 minutes left to go. Jeremiah Jenkins walking the ball right across the logo. Rams really can't afford to lose 3 in a row, trying to prepare for that AAC tournament coming up in the next month. As Nelms, the hard step inside, underhands Concepcion, pops from the left elbow, front rim miss, but luckily Gage Jesbeck is there for the board. Gives it right back to Concepcion, bounces into Nelms, puts it on the deck and fouled, as it looked like he was thinking about a shot but didn't get it up anyway. And it will be an inbounds pass. Coming up, Naquan Cousins into the game, and we're starting to see that platoon change. Jeremiah Jenkins, Concepcion, as well as Reed, all subbed out. Dwan Perry into the game, the junior from Detroit, Michigan, and now Sean Robinson will inbounds for Bluefield. Naquan Cousins, a guy that's going to play towards the rim for Bluefield, probably has the best hops on the team. Robinson hoping to pass it inbounds, finally zips it into Perry onto the right corner. Goes down the baseline, trucking over Twigger, and it will be a charge call. So after Perry lowered that left elbow, he knew. Now he's smiling, going back on defense, and just like that, Richard Morgan takes him out of the game. And Perry laughing as he does, but he knew that he was about to be yanked after that ugly foul. So Taekwon Reed probably got a sip of water, and now he's going back into the game. Darius Huff just pinballing the ball around in the backcourt, bouncing over to him is Christian Latham, looking for the alley-oop. No answer from Andrew Rodriguez. Fresh into the game, a crossover dribble by Taekwon Reed. Zips out right side. No, lets a mid-range go and misses. As the rebound is hauled in by Rodriguez, the junior from San Juan, Puerto Rico. Now taking the ball across midcourt, it will be Christian Latham. Bluefield operates with a 1-point lead. Zone defense, long three on the left wing. Carlos Heath.
Heath Jr. from Rochester able to get the lead 18-16. Now with 10:55 to go in the first half. Already has a couple of trades now going lane, loses the ball on a pass, tipped out of bounds. Officials trying to make a decision of who off of, and they say it was off of one of the black jerseys. The Rams will keep it with 10:45 left to go. Juan Perry back in the game. Taekwon Reed right back down. We'll have to see what Richard Morgan says to him. It's a couple of encouraging words. Now the inbounds pass will be in the hands of Juan Perry. Right in front of that St. Andrews bench, looking to pass it in, and does. On a bounce over to Sean Robinson. Skates over into the right side, one arm pass. Naquan Cousins arcs a three. Yes! From the right corner. Well, the 6'6" sophomore from Raleigh able to get into the mix of things. The Rams already starting to drain the threes in this game. Going straight down the other end. Lathan feeds a Hume reverse layup balls as he went left to right with the right hand to make it now 20-19. Rams down by one, and a timeout called by Richard Morgan. Back and forth we go in this one. 10:20 remaining in the first half. Take any of the pictures. Bob's a weird guy. He's old enough to be my dad. He's my coworker. He's cool.
What happened at the game? You lost on a buzzer beater?
Last night, we almost
lost?
20-19 now the score, 10-15, as the Rams coming off of a loss last night where Jorge Concepcion missed that shot at the buzzer off of that shot from Thomas Collins. But here's Stanthony Nelms tonight, and he drains a shot from the left elbow. Well, Bluefield almost had a win from Stan Nelms' shot with about 22 seconds left, and that was just too much time for West Virginia Tech and company to get that win. But now the Rams have the lead here again at 21-20. Hand off in the right wing, Darius Huff back up top to Carlos Heath, trying for his second three, missed, and the ball tipped into the hands of Naquan Cousins. Underhanded over to Sean Robinson, the point guard, operating for the past 5 minutes. Swing over to Cousins, a pump fake in the corner, looking for help as he dishes it up top to Nelms. Swings out left, DeJuan Perry. 18 seconds on the shot clock, cross-court lob, Cousins, overhead pass over to Stan Nelms. Now the senior from Atlanta lobs it into the right block, ugly pass as Gage Yesbeck was double-teamed that time by Jeremias Easterling, the Argentina native. Taking the ball right across midcourt, here is Christian Lathan. Bounce pass to Darius Huff. Bluefield in that zone defense. Feed left corner over to Rodriguez, and one-arm pass up top with 13 seconds on the shot clock. Now 9:05 left to go in the half. 10 to shoot. Robinson on the defense as Lathan pops a long 17-footer, and the pass, or rather the shot, rattles through the 10 to give the lead right back to this St. Andrews team at 22-21. Robinson underhands to Juan Perry, and now Perry dishes right wing. Rams really don't take a lot of time in these possessions as Naquan Cousins misses a three, follows his shot going down the lane, but in the process he trucked Carlos Heath, and that will give the ball right back to St. Andrews. 8:39 left to go in this first half. Whistle blows, and DeJuan Perry taken out of the game again. Jorge Concepcion subs for him. Meanwhile, Luis Rossi, the sophomore from Brazil, will replace Darius Huff. And a few players from South America on this team. Easterling coming from Argentina, and Rossi out of Sao João, Brazil. Pass up top for Rossi as he dishes over to Easterling. Around the corner they go. Here's Heath. Hard bounce through the double team. Lost the ball, and he had it on a soccer-style header right out of bounds. So Bluefield will get it back. Down by 1 point. 22-21. St. Andrews on top. Taking the ball across will be Sean Robinson as he jogs across the timeline. He dishes right side. Jorge Concepcion right in front of that student section. Concepcion veers left, takes a long shot and misses. Rebound, Gage Jesbeck right through the double team. Bounces back to Concepcion, swings it out to Robinson, arcs a tray. Back iron miss. Good board from Naquan Cousins. He's in a triple team right now. Someone has to be open. And now Bluefield restarts to hear the logo from Sean Robinson. 8 minutes left in the first half. And Robinson with Stan Nelms working to find a shot. Nelms tries from the free throw line and hits. Make it 23-22, 7:45 left to go in the first half. Now Latham with the ball now. He is pressured right in front of that Bluefield bench. Rams force him in a trap. Dishes right side. Rossi launches a tray, looking for the bank there and doesn't get it as the ball swirls around the cup and pops on the other side. Pass to Cousins. Powers in the lane. Layup falls with a foul. Naquan Cousins, maybe the best athlete for Bluefield, able to go through that double team right there, forced up his shot and powered the ball right through the nylon to give the Rams a 3-point lead, 25-22. Looking to silence St. Andrews here with an and one, with 7:26 remaining in the first half. Whistle blows, Ahume into the game. Now one shot for Bluefield. Naquan Cousins wearing number 1, threads the ball through, shoots with the right hand, and misses as the ball bounces around. Although for Cousins, he now has 5 points, leading the way for the Rams, both with 6 points, Reed and Jeremiah Jenkins. Underhands over to Rodriguez. Left elbow swings up, top of the key. Rossi with a hard three, and off the laser beam, almost really bricked it into the window. Here's Jorge Concepcion in transition, splitting through the double team and fouled as he passed that ball out in the right corner. 25-22, still the score. Rams up by 3 with 7:05 remaining in the first half. That foul will be called on Carlos Heath, and St. Andrews now has 3 fouls, Bluefield with 5. With 7:05 left to go, Naquan Cousins will pass right in bounce. Kicks top of the key, Concepcion. Open lane, pops from the elbow, front rim, and it still found the roll as it went through the nylon. 27-22, Rams starting to pick up some offensive momentum here, as Concepcion now has tallied 4 points for Bluefield. On the other end, Lathan feeds Rossi right wing. He's missed 2 threes so far as he underhands over to Rodriguez. Looking for separation. Rodriguez swings out left to Hume, going down the baseline in the double team. Underhands Rossi. Another pump fake on the mid-range. 8 to shoot. Walked in the lane. And Bluefield forced St. Andrews to have a very ugly offensive possession. And now Randy Hernandez will go into his bench again and start to replace some of the players he had out there. So Rossi as well as Rodriguez are taken off as looks like Twigger as well as Carlos Heath back into the game with Darius Huff. Jeremiah Jenkins also returning for Bluefield. Sean Robinson taken off. 6.5 minutes before we hit halftime. Rams up by 5. Now top of the key, Jorge Concepcion, chest pass over to Jeremiah Jenkins. Dish on the top again. Nelms pops from mid-range and drains it. Stan Nelms in these past 2 games has found a lot of confidence on those 15-foot shots from the left and right elbows. And now for him, it looks like Stanthony Nelms has 6 points. So now 29-22. Here's Darius Huff, a one-arm pass back up top to Latham. Foot on the line, lets a 3 go and misses. And now Stanthony Nelms able to pick away the rebound again. 6 minutes left to go in the half as Concepcion zips into the lane, misses the layup as it's stuffed into that crevice between the rim and the basket, or the rim and the backboard. And now he will have 2 shots as he was fouled by Carlos Heath. That'll be Heath's second and a team 4th. So Jorge Concepcion back to the line. Rams trying to jump up by 8 points here. Shot for Concepcion. True as it goes through the nylon. Concepcion averaging 14.4 points per game. That still leads the Rams by 3 points. Jeremiah Jenkins has now jumped across David Tripp to be number 2 in scoring for Bluefield. And Concepcion still one of the better free throw shooters for the Rams at 72%. Make it 100% in this game as he hits both. 31-22. Rams up by 9 now. Their largest lead of the game as Bluefield sets up in a man-to-man. Sanders matched up with Jeremiah Jenkins, pass left side over to Ahume, who has been a threat in the low post. Now a pass on the right side for Twigger with 15 seconds on the shot clock. Naquan Cousins on the coverage. Pass out right to the new player in now. It is Devontae Pettaway. Pettaway matched up with Concepcion. 5 to shoot. Here's Huff down the right baseline. Scoops out left. Now a pass in the left corner. Here's Sanders. Here's Ahume. Shot at the buzzer. Hit from 12 feet. make that now 31-24 as they use the entire shot clock. 5:13 left to go in the first half. Bluefield, though, still with great defense. And you got to think that they won't have an open look like that if they use the entire shot clock every time. Into the right wing with a left-handed dribble, Jorge Concepcion dishing into the corner for Stan Nelms. Looks like St. Andrews once again matching up in its own defense. Crossover dribble with 8 to shoot. Concepcion pops from 18. Back iron miss. Tipped in the air by Cousins, but finally hauled in by Ahume. Going one-on-one towards the basket. Carries with a right hand and still finds the layup. So the freshman from Cameroon able to make this a 31-26 game now. Rams still up by 5, though. They've led by as much as 9. Back onto the right wing. Jeremiah Jenkins zips top of the key over to Concepcion through a double team. Feeds Jenkins. Arcs a 3. Swish. From the right corner, Jeremiah Jenkins has 3 triples in this one. 34-26, the lead back to 8. Going right across midcourt. Here comes Sanders as he bounces up top over to Darius Huff. Looks like the St. Andrews team is also trying to find an open tray as Petaway has the ball near the top of the arc. Splits the defense, floats with a right hand, swirls around the cup. No good, and the putback stuffed by Stan Nelms. Here's Jeremiah Jenkins, bounces left side. Cousins, and the dunk tapped in with 2 hands. 36-26, largest lead of the game for the Rams at 10 points. St. Andrews still not taking a timeout as of yet, and they will. 36-26, 3:45 left to go in the first half. Rams starting to pick up the pace here with under 4 minutes left to go before halftime. (36-26) Rams on top by 10 as the inbounds pass goes into Jordan Sanders. 3:40 left to go, and the Rams really packing it on here after the dunk from Naquan Cousins. St. Andrews in the black jerseys, and the ball overhead for Petaway. Bounces at the free throw line. Pass goes straight out of bounds across the baseline. Huff went up for the shot and looked for the no-look dish over to Calvin Ahume, and he was not ready. That halts the clock at 3.5 minutes, and Jeremiah Jenkins, running the offense for Bluefield, already has 3 3-pointers in this game. And we're seeing some of that confidence roll over from last night's game into this contest as Jenkins has 9 points. Into the free throw line now. David Tripp angling towards the basket, misses the left-handed layup. Trying to get it in the backcourt now as he's chasing down the point guard Jordan Sanders. Right into the right wing. Darius Huff steps towards the basket, misses the shot, and now Stan Nelms on a great rebound, angling right across midcourt. It looked like he was popped in the face by Calvin Ahume. No call, though, and now there are 2:50 left to go in the first half. And the right wing, Jeremiah Jenkins swinging the ball around. Concepcion has it, dished to Reed. Underhands over to Stanthony Nelms. Top of the key. David Tripp launches a tray, misses left wing, and they're not falling for David Tripp in this game so far. Rebound on the left side is Sanders. Taking the ball up towards the top of the key. Handoff Huff. Right elbow. Rams still on the St. Andrews team like glue as Petaway splits the defense. Lost the ball in the paint. Picked up by Jeremiah Jenkins. Rams on the run. Reed steps towards the basket. Floats with the right hand and clocks the rebound, or clocks the layup in. 38-26. 12-point lead for the Rams. 2:08 left to go. Here's Petaway taking the ball up, and now giving the ball over to Huff. Bounce pass down low, stolen by Nelms. Rams in transition again, going 3-on-2. Jenkins with a hard dish to Reed, went under the basket. Now Bluefield will start out a new offense, or at least try to, as Reed had a terrible pass over to Jeremiah Jenkins, went out of bounds, and got up a little frustrated with that because he was wide open. He knew he was going to shoot that 3. Now we'll go back the way of St. Andrews, rolling the ball into Sanders. With 1:50 left to go in the first half, Rams up by 12. Well, St. Andrews has not found an answer as Bluefield kicked up the pace of the game, just a little bit more athletic. Just down low to Ahume, puts it on the deck, powers in the lane, and no doubt about it, that is a charge. As Stan Nelms knew to hit the floor fast, and the Rams get the ball back with 1:38 left to go in the first. Now Stanthony Nelms, maybe that's one of the best things Richard Morgan can talk about as far as playing in the lane, playing tough on defense. Stan Nelms always able to draw those charges. And now it looks like one of our volunteers here mopping up the sweat in the hard court. And now David Tripp will inbounds. Rams lead by 12. Really all the shots falling for Bluefield in the latter half of the first half. 9 points for Jeremiah Jenkins, 8 on the day for Taekwon Reed, and 6 for Jorge Concepcion. Cousins also with 7. Backwards pass over to Jorge Concepcion near the free throw line. Underhands Taekwon Reed. Step back triple. Too hard. Loose ball. Rebound David Tripp, but he had a reach on St. Andrews, so that'll be another foul on David Tripp. That's the team's 6th foul, his 2nd. Rossi back into the game for St. Andrews. And now Bluefield goes back on defense. They can't get into these spurts where they don't have any offensive energy going. We've talked about with the women's team where they tried to find some energy on the offensive end and couldn't do it. That's where the Rams really find all of theirs. Now have to get it back on defense, though. In the corner, Twigger releases a 3 and misses as the ball bounces over the window. The Rams get the ball back. HS back in. David Tripp taken off with a little under a minute left in the first half. Rams up by 12. We steal Steve for Bluefield, though. Sean Robinson operating with Jeremiah Jenkins, the 2 point guards, and Jenkins really the 2 with Sean Robinson on the floor. Concepcion underhands Jenkins, arcs a 3, swish! 4 threes for Jeremiah Jenkins. Makes it now 41-26, a 15-point lead for the Rams. 40 seconds left to go in this first half. 35 now as Rodriguez goes in the lane, floats, and another charge drawn by Stanthony Nelms. And he is just the guy to really freeze St. Andrews. Richard Morgan with a big fist bump after that. Meanwhile, that's the 2nd foul on Easterling. Now 32.3 seconds left to go in the first half. Rams want to possibly elevate this one to a 20-point lead if they can with just a little over 30 seconds before halftime. Sean Robinson backpedaling as he gets a new offense from Richard Morgan. 30 seconds left to go. Pass in the right wing. Jorge Concepcion just kind of letting this one go as there's about a 2-second differential between game clock and shot clock. Oh, looks like Robinson pressured by Twigger. Moves on the right side, underhands Concepcion. Now 10 to shoot. Concepcion stepping back in the left wing. 8 seconds on the shot clock and 8 seconds now on the game clock. Bouncing the left elbow. Nelms with a hard dish to Jesbeck. Feeds out right. Robinson lets a 2 go and switches it. 43-26. There's the buzzer. Rams go into the halftime locker room. 43-26, up by 17. Finding a lot of confidence there in the final minutes of that first half. Don't go away. We have more basketball for you here on the Rams Digital Sports Network.
We are here at the Dome at halftime. The score is 43-26. Rams are up. Jeremiah Jenkins has a total of 12 points, hitting four threes, as well as right behind Taekwon Reed has a whole 8 points. On the other side of St. Andrews, we have Ahum, who has also hit 14 points tonight. We only have about 5 minutes left here at the half. Stay tuned for the second half coming up very shortly.
Welcome back to the Dome. Rams up by 17 as we enter the second half, 43-26. Taekwon Reed working as the point guard now as the Rams carry the ball left to right. Jeremiah Jenkins with 12 points. Already stumbling there. Feed down low to Donnell Gooch, puts it on the deck, hooks with the right hand, and fails to score, but he is fouled as Bluefield will now go to the line with 2 shots. Donnell Gooch has not scored yet in this game, but he's the big man that has been able to start for the Rams in the past now 4 games. A couple of hard dribbles for him. Arcs with a right hand and misses. So he's got a pretty free throw, but did not go in. Jeremiah Easterling in for Calvin Ahume after that foul was called on him. So now Donnell Gooch will try it with his second shot here, wearing number 50, standing in at 6'9". Second shot. Nothing but net. Now the Rams are up by 18, their largest of the game, 44-26. With just about 19:40 left to go, taking the ball up and trying to get this game going once again is Saunders. Now on the left side, Huff bounces down low to Easterling, spins towards the basket with contact, hooks a shot, tipped in the air, rebound Concepcion, but he stepped out of bounds as he carried himself right into the cheerleaders. So with 19:31 left to go in the game, Bluefield will now have to defend this inbounds pass. Rams have already lost 2 games in a row, now trying to mop that up here with a win over St. Andrews that has only won 3 games this year. Pass left wing, Twigger bounces onto the left side, now up top, looking for someone to pass it to, dishes right side over to Lathan. Now swings out to Twigger, launches a 3, left wing, yes. 44-29, Rams lead by 15 now. Well, Jenkins has hit 4 threes, and we saw him do that in the last game against WVU Tech in Beckley last night, the Big Atlantic Classic. Now storms down the right side, looks for separation, floats a mid-range, missed. Now the loose ball spinning right in front of the Bluefield bench, finally corralled by Twigger for SAU. Lathan straight down the lane, hooks with a left hand, it bounces the layup in. Past 5 points have fallen for St. Andrews, and Richard Morgan calls a timeout. Lead cut down to 13 now, Rams still up 44-31 after the timeout was called by the Rams head coach with 18:50 left to go in the game. Bounce pass into Sean Robinson out of the timeout. Bluefield goes out with a new platoon. Jeremiah Jenkins taken off. Now Robinson in as well as Cousins and Stan Nelms. Going on the right side, Sean Robinson garners separation and swings out right wing. Taekwon Reed, a hard pump fake, feeds to Gooch, dish out left over to Naquan Cousins. Looking for some sort of room, loses the ball. Darius Huff picked it up. Now it's picked away by Lathan. Now St. Andrews coming out with a lot of intensity so far here in the second half. They've cut the lead down to 13 after the Rams led by as much as 18. And now an offensive foul as Sanders poked Robinson right in the face. He did a number to sell it as he stepped back, but it looked like it got him right in the right eye. Or possibly the top of the nose. Seems to be flickering a little bit. 18-19 left to go in the game now. And a bounce pass into Sean Robinson. Well, Robinson really hasn't been lighting it up offensively in this one. He has 12 points as well as 2 assists. Spinning around in the left wing, off the screen, backhanded pass. Underhands is over to Donnell Gooch. Now picked away by Easterling, passing into the backcourt for Lathan to run the offense for St. Andrews. Rams once again in a man-to-man off defense. Here's Twigger launching a 3 and missing from the left corner. Well, St. Andrews not getting back on defense fast enough. Reed underhands Nelms, the mid-range, back iron, and the tip not stuck in by Naquan Cousins. Here comes St. Andrews. Huff dishes left corner. Twig in the corner, off the stutter step, fires a 3, misses front rim. Loose ball under the basket. Huff with a putback, can't get it. Now still fighting for the rebound. Gooch putting a hand in there, and SAU gets it right back. Feed on the right block, Huff hooks over on the left wing for Twigger to give it right back to Huff. Now 8 to shoot on that fresh shot clock. Jumps under the basket, hooks with the right hand, and finally scores. Lead down to 11. Randy Hernandez, the head coach for St. Andrews, pretty excited as his team is starting to get back into it. Well, now Robinson and this Bluefield team hoping that it won't happen like in that Montreat game where Bluefield had to fight at the end to get it into overtime. Now, a foul called off the ball on Darius Huff. Olatunji Ibafemi now in, replacing Naquan Cousins. 17 minutes left to go in the second half. Ibafemi coming out of Lagos, Nigeria. Passes the ball in, Robinson right wing. Starts to stutter step in the top of the key. Underhands Nelms, right elbow. Bounce down low to Donnell Gooch, and it goes right through his legs. He wasn't ready. 7:16:50 in the game now as Tristan Lathan pressured hard by Sean Robinson. Bluefield looking for the defensive stops. Huff with a hard step. Missed the layup on the left block. Rebound clapped in by Ibafemi. Robinson gallivants over to Stan Nelms. Hard dribble. Misses the layup, but he was swatted on his body as he went across the basket on that reverse layup attempt. And now the Rams will have a couple of shots at the free throw line. Stanthony Nelms already with 6 points, all from about the left or right elbows from 15 feet. We saw him really get into the groove of things against WVU Tech. Now steps up to the lane again. Shooting two, the Rams just up by 11 now as Nelms shoots and scores. Make it 45-33. Meanwhile, that's the third foul on Jeremiah Easterling as the buzzers start to flare up. 16:33 left to go in the game. Rams are already losing 2 in a row, trying to fight for a home win here against St. Andrews. Shoulder shrug from Nelms, fires and swish. So now 46-33, 16 and a half minutes left to go in this game. So for Bluefield, we saw right there at the end of the first half where they just electrified SAU when it was tied for most of that first half. Easterling tied up in the left block with Stan Nelms and Taekwon Reed. That one's going to be on Reed, another foul for him. And that's the first foul of the half for Bluefield. Meanwhile, for SAU, they have 4, and Taekwon Reed now has 2 personals. Now, Easterling up to the basket now. His first shot rattles in. Easterling coming out of La Plata, Argentina. A shoulder shrug. Had a pretty interesting favorite quote on his website as he hits both. And I'm not sure if this was a typo, but on the website for St. Andrews, the favorite quote for Jeremiah Easterling read, "Haters are my girl to success." And I think I read that about 15 times, and I still don't understand it. Meanwhile, it's 46-35, an 11-point lead for the Rams. Now Jeremiah Jenkins finally gets the ball across the midcourt line, dishes on the left side. Taekwon Reed in the lane, pops from the right elbow, front rim miss. Rebound clapped in by Carlos Heath. Now down by 11, St. Andrews has all the life here in the second half with 16 minutes remaining in the game. Rams led by as much as 18 in this half, and then St. Andrews finally woke up. Here's Rossi at the top of the key, ball overhead, left-handed dribble, underhands Heath. Already has a couple of threes in this game. Zigzags down the right lane, swings out right to Sanders, steps, scoops, and scores. But before that, a whistle to stop the play and a foul called on Jeremiah Jenkins. His first foul and a team second. Got to watch out for Carlos Heath. Has a couple of threes, 6 points. On the right wing, Heath zips, top of the key, Twigger. Ball slammed into the deck by Taekwon Reed as Twigger picked it up in the backcourt. Now taking the ball across midcourt, hands off over to Sanders. 10 to shoot for SAU, backing up in their black jerseys. 5 to shoot. Sanders storms to the lane, carries with the left hand, shoots, scores, but a charge is called. Stanthony Nelms has been victimizing SAU all night, drawing these charges left and right. And that time, it brings Sanders over to his bench. The buzzers went on for about 30 seconds right there. 15:28 left to go in the second half. Stanthony Nelms passes inbounds over to Jeremiah Jenkins. Well, the Rams still looking to elevate this lead. They're up by 11 points. Stan Nelms zips right corner. Jorge Concepcion tries a three and drains it from the right corner. 49-35, the lead back to 14 as Concepcion now has tallied 9 points. Make that 3 3-pointers for him in this game. Now up top here is Jordan Sanders backing up. It's 15 minutes left to go in the game. Heath feeds Twigger, left corner three, yes! 49-38, timeout called by Randy Hernandez. And now with 14:57, we have another break here on the Rams Digital Sports Network. Bluefield up by 11. Inbounds pass into Jeremiah Jenkins. Rams up by 11 after the timeout called by Randy Hernandez. SAU not going to sleep just yet here in the second half with about 15 minutes left to go. Jorge Concepcion just hit a three. Now he has it in the right wing. Zips top of the key over to Jeremiah Jenkins. Floats over to Yesbeck and tipped in the air. Stolen by Rossi. Bounce up to Sanders. Chasing down the right side and finishes the layup after Olatunji Ibafemi was breathing down his neck. Now down to a single-digit lead. 49-40, 14 and a half minutes left to go. Rams can't let SAU fight back in this one. Just a team with 3 wins. Now Jenkins decides to launch a tray and drills it home. Now 15 points for Jeremiah Jenkins. 5 threes for the little man from Norfolk. On the left side, Rossi, the big man out of Brazil, matched up with Jeremiah Jenkins. Kind of a mismatch there. Dish down low to Easterling. Spins in the lane, hooks with the right hand, and misses. Good rebound with one arm by Stan Nelps. Rams still up 52-40 now. 13:55 left to go in the game. Jenkins, a 40% three-point shooter in his short career at Bluefield. That's going to improve tonight. Ibafemi feeds top of the key. Nelm steps into a 17-footer. Front rim bouncing around, and it doesn't get the roll, as now SAU gets the ball right back with 13:39 remaining. Well, Sanders trying to work something in here. He just has 2 points and 2 rebounds. The point guard also only with 1 assist. Carlos Heath trying to get SAU back into the game as well. Kind of a long-range shooter. Bounce down low to Rossi. Spins in the left side. Goes through the double team and hooks it through. What a play on the floater for the center from Brazil. 52-42, 13:10 remaining. Jeremiah Jenkins now with all of those 15 points. He is 5 of 5 from beyond the arc. Stan Nelms matched up with Rossi. Ibafemi pops it down low to Yesbeck. Returns Ibafemi. Long three for him. Front rim and a miss. Bouncing on the left side. Popping into the hands of Rossi. Oh, Bluefield wearing those white jerseys. Trying to get a win after 2 straight road losses. Rossi gallivants in the lane. His pass tipped in the air but picked up by Heath. Reverse layup. Nowhere close. Tipped in the air and Yesbeck finally hauled it in. Jenkins going on the other end. Backhanded pass over to Jorge Concepcion. Hard step. Left-handed layup right in front of the basket. 54-42. 12 and a half minutes left to go now, as the Rams are starting to find that energy that we saw them have right there at the end of the first half. They went into halftime leading by 17, and now the lead is cut down to 12. Easterling passes left over to Heath. Long look at the basket. Pops from 5 and drills the baseline jumper. Well, Bluefield wasting no time, always with those long passes up to Jorge Concepcion. Dish on the left side, off the hand of Ibafemi, and he kept the ball in bounds as he just flared it near the logo for Stan Nelps. 16 to shoot for the senior from Georgia. Crossover dribble, trying to get a screen. Gets it, pops from the free throw line, swish. Stan Nelms with now 10 points in double figures, shooting very well from the field. He is now 4 of 7. Well, Bluefield usually using him as a guy that can elevate towards the rim, but now he's a mid-range threat. Into the corner goes Twigger, out of a double team, shuffles in towards the sideline. Bounce down in the right block for Easterling. Left-handed Dribble, now around the horn. Here's Sanders, straight lane to the basket, pounces the ball off of the backboard, and a rebound for Concepcion. Chest pass Nelms, into the lane he goes. No look pass Ibafimi, long three, back iron, miss. Into the air, Rossi wrestles the rebound away from Gage Jesbeck, who tried to swat that ball away from Sanders. But this place was about to get pretty crazy if Bluefield was able to let Ibafimi hit that triple there. But they still lead by 12, 56-44. 11 minutes remaining in the game. And Sanders with that left-handed dribble veers right, splits the double team, and before that he was fouled on the floor as he actually skated his way to the rim. So that foul will be called on Jeremiah Jenkins, his second and a team third. So it's 56-44. David Tripp back into the game as Gage Jesbeck returns to the bench. Clock is stopped at 10:57. Darius Huff in for St. Andrews as Easterling returns to his chair. Inbounds pass for Huff coming out of Newport News, playing with a couple of 7'5" guys now on the floor. Bounce down low to Huff, hooks with a right hand, back iron, and a rebound clapped in by Ibafimi. After he hauls in the board, he gives it right back to Jeremiah Jenkins. One arm disc, Dan Nelms backs in the lane. Huff pumps it and gets it through the basket for 58-44. Well, Anthony Nelms with a couple of pump fakes there, and it's now 10:35 left to go in this one. Makes it 12 points for him. He is really feeling it from mid-range. 10.5 minutes before the Rams can try to go home with a home victory. Here's a shot from Rossi. Bullets it right off of the back of the rim. Now a rebound clapped in by Ibafimi. Jenkins feeds Nelms. Still on fire, going down the baseline and draws a foul from Rossi. Well, for Luis Rossi, he threw his arms up just trying to get back on defense, and Stanthony Nelms able to draw the team's 6th foul. Stops the clock at 10:12 as well. First foul for Rossi, and checking in for Bluefield will be DeJuan Perry. So an inbounds pass for Jeremiah Jenkins now. Calvin Ahume in. Rossi taken off after his first foul. And Ahume already has 14 points. Haven't seen anything out of him through the first half of the second half. Here's Jeremiah Jenkins. Make it 6 of 6 from beyond the arc. 61-44, the lead back to 17. The Rams have led by as much as 18 in this one. Latham underhands Ahume, popped him in the mouth, picked away by Bluefield. Concepcion coast to coast with the layup rejected. Darius Huff on the block, and he fouled him. And now a technical being called on Randy Hernandez, who was screaming on the other end, and Richard Morgan kind of looks dumbfounded as Randy Hernandez was absolutely irate with the men in stripes now. So a huge technical on Randy Hernandez as he was arguing that Huff got all ball, and now he realizes probably shouldn't have been that irate with that foul call. So now a couple of shots for Jeremiah Jenkins, 88% free throw shooter, one of the better free throw shooters for the Rams. So not only will Jorge Concepcion have 2 shots, here's a couple from Jeremiah Jenkins as well. Makes it 62-44 as he's taking those free throws all alone. It makes the lead at 18. Got to remember when SAU cut it down to a 9-point game, the Rams didn't have that for long as Jenkins hits both free throws off of the technical foul. Now back to the line, Jorge Concepcion after the foul from Darius Huff. And also that is the 8th foul for SAU. So Bluefield already in the bonus, 9:52 remaining in the game. Concepcion looking at his coach with his hands on his right side, trying to really gauge what's happening as the Rams are up by 19 points now. Here's the shot from Concepcion, nothing but net. So he's now tied for the second in team lead in scoring right now. He has 12 points, as Stan Nelms also has 12. Now his second shot rattles around and misses. Rebound Darius Huff. 64-44. Rams on top by 20 off the technical foul called on Randy Hernandez. Rams really pouring it on here in the middle of the second half. Carlos Heath bounces it in to Darius Huff, loses the ball on the underhand over to Ahume, and it was hit out of bounds off of the Rams. And Darius Huff thought that that one was off the hands of Ahume, and he was ready to get back on defense. Meanwhile, Carlos Heath off the inbound, swishes a three right in front of his bench to cut it down to his 17-point lead again. The Rams can try to hold on here, barring a huge comeback from SAU. Montreat did it at their own gym. But also the Rams already beat this team earlier on in the year, 81-71. David Tripp near the free throw line, crossover dribble, goes into the left wing. Now wasting some time as he dishes it over to Jorge Concepcion. 10 to shoot for Concepcion, goes down the left side, hooks with a right hand over a pass to Tripp, feeds Jenkins, trying to go 6 for 6 and misses. Stan Nelms on the putback, couldn't get it, but David Tripp picks up the pieces to make it now 66-47. Rams on top by 19 points. And really looking dominating here after a frustrating couple of losses against Allen as well as West Virginia Tech. Bounce into Huff going down the lane, underhands Ahume, and now a block called as Huff trucked into the lane, and Stanthony Nelms must not have had his feet set. Halts the clock at 8:45. Still a big weekend for Rams basketball. On Saturday, Reinhardt comes to town. And then the men's team will get a break on Sunday, while the women's team actually have to play on the day of the Super Bowl against the Apprentice School. And then both teams will make the trip, a makeup trip at that, to Johnson City to play against Milligan. Huff loses the ball through the double team, corrals it in the corner. Bounce in the right block, Easterling puts on the deck and shoots from 5 to score. 66-49. Rams still in command as Jorge Concepcion is pressured by the man-to-man defense of Carlos Heath. 8.5 minutes remaining in this one as Bluefield is working off of, you see that frustration they had in losing those past 2 games. Jenkins pops it over to Concepcion, tipped in the air and stolen by Heath. Crossover dribble straight to the hoop, and he wins that battle with a reverse layup. Makes it 66-51, 8:05 on the clock before this one is over. Jeremiah Jenkins stuttering as he gets across midcourt. Good defense on the other end by Lathan. Crossover dribble, feeds Concepcion, skies towards the rim, and scores with a right hand. 14 points for Concepcion now. Another underhanded pass over to Twigger, and if you're SAU, you're going to have to start hitting those 3-pointers as Huff is hacked into the lane. 68-51, and the foul's really being called aplenty here in the second half. Stanthony Nelms will be called with the foul, and that'll be the 4th foul on Bluefield. Donnell Gooch just about ready to go into the game. Darius Huff at the line, and Stanthony Nelms with his 2nd foul, make that the 5th foul on the Rams. Here in the second period, 7:40 left to go. Darius Huff already has 4 points, follows through with a right hand and makes it 5. Gooch into the game, Sean Robinson as well. And now Andrew Rodriguez also back in for SAU. Well, St. Andrews coming out of Laurinburg, North Carolina. Played them in football earlier this year, and the Rams got the win at Mitchell Stadium as well. SAU with their first year of the program as the second shot is missed by Huff on the front end of the basket. Here comes Jorge Concepcion going right across midcourt. Underhands Gucci wasn't ready as the ball went right into his earlobe, and it was swatted out of bounds by Carlos Heath. That's the second time where they've been trying to feed Donnell Gooch, and he just hasn't been ready off of those really lightning passes in the lane. Robinson passes into David Tripp. Open 3. Right corner bouncing into the rim and a miss as Darius Huff spins out of the rebound. Well, SAU has to score fast as it goes straight down the lane. Huff hacked as he went up, and there's a clean block from DeJuan Perry. 68-52. The Rams winning in this rebounding game 24-21, but the turnovers have been aplenty for St. Andrews. Out of the inbounds, Easterling floats from 10 and scores on the mid-range on the right baseline. So far, that is 16 turnovers for the Knights. Rams piling them up in the second half. They have 12. Jorge Concepcion near the free throw line. Underhands Perry in the left wing going down the baseline. Spins it back out to Concepcion. Hard dribble, lost the ball, and Robinson saved it before it went into the backcourt. But still his pass picked away. Now floated in the backcourt. Robinson with 8 to shoot. Feeds Concepcion. Now with just 5 to shoot, Concepcion needs to let one go. Angles on the right baseline. Pops from 3. Misses with the left hand. Rebound Easterling. 6:43 left to go in this one. And the Rams still up by 14, 68-54. Latham with a left hand with an open lane as it collapses, feeds Easterling near the free throw line. Bounces with a right hand, and his pass over to Carlos Heath finally hauled in. Good defense from Bluefield. Heath with a jump stop and fouled as he went into the painted area. See who that foul is booked on, and it will be Jorge Concepcion. And that'll be his first foul and a team 6th. Now shooting 2 shots, Carlos Heath. Averages right around 9.5 points per game. But he only scored 5 in the game against Truett McConnell the last time. Buzzer sounds. Concepcion is relieved. Cousins comes in. For Heath, make that 11 points after hitting a few three-pointers in this one. He has 2 trays. Heath with the second shot, hits both. Makes it 69, or 68 to 55. 68 to 56, rather. Now a timeout called. Rams on top by 12 with 6.5 minutes left to go here in this AAC matchup. Rams lead by 12, 68-56, looking to wrap this one up with 6:25 left to go in the game, but St. Andrews still making it tough as Tripp had to one-arm it in over to Donnell Gooch. He's pickpocketed as he crossed midcourt, and Andrew Rodriguez picked up the loose ends right in front of the Bluefield bench. So plenty of time for the Knights to try to fight back in this one, but the Rams have led by as much as 20. Lathan in the left wing, Robinson stepping up in the zone defense. Easterling provides a screen as Lathan dishes left side over to Petaway. Kick down low to Easterling, spins towards the left side of the basket, reverse layup, kiss off the glass, and that makes it 68-58. Bluefield has led by as little as 9 in this half, and still have fought their way back up to as much as 20. Still though, 5:45 left in regulation, and one-arm pass over to Naquan Cousins. Skates down the lane, backs it out over to Sean Robinson. In the corner, a pump fake, goes back in the painted area, flares it to Donnell Gooch. And once again, he wasn't ready as he powered the ball right down with his left hand. Still the score, 68-58, 5.5 minutes left to go. Lathan right in front of his bench, goes in towards the lane, loses the ball, picks it up, and dishes it back out over to Petaway. Swings out on the left side. And now Lathan, pressured hard by Sean Robinson, just 10 to shoot, goes top of the key, straight down the arc he goes, swings out right side, Rodriguez pops it back out, Huff lets it go for 3. Misses on the iron, and now Cousins just got the easy rebound, not really contested. It's 5:05 left to go now, 68-58, still the score. Rams in the lead as Robinson tries to end this losing streak for Bluefield. Perry down the lane, goes up for the dunk, he's hacked but fouled. And Randy Hernandez has to just eat his words after he was already teed up earlier on. And really that has been the main source of concern for the head coach for St. Andrews. He was teed up when Jorge Concepcion was rejected at the rim and then called at a foul on Darius Huff. And then Hernandez yelled and provided Bluefield a chance to score 4 straight points from the free throw line. Meanwhile, that's the 4th foul on Easterling. And DeJuan Perry will try to hit his first free throw of the night, and he does. 69-58. Anthony Elms into the game. He has 14 points for Bluefield. Gage Yesbeck also checking in. It looks like Richard Morgan really has been kind of experimenting with the chemistry of these lineups. Gage Yesbeck played a lot more at the beginning of the year. Had a little bit of a foot injury as the second shot falls for DeJuan Perry, and then taken off. So Perry with 2 points now, and the Rams lead back up to 12, 70-58. 4:46 left to go. Lob to Easterling, puts it on the deck and blocked, but Stan Nelms called for the foul. Thought he got all ball there, and once again a foul called, and Easterling will go to the line. Well, it looks like that has been the pattern here in the second half of the game, trying to drive and draw a foul. And for Stan Nelms, that's his third and the team's 7th. Easterling swishes the first of 2 to make it 70-59. And for young man Stan Nelms, he has been able to hit the mid-range shots. He has changed this year as both shots fall for Easterling. Carlos Heath replacing Petaway. And for Anthony Nelms, at the beginning of the year was the guy that was trying to posterize on one-arm dunks. Today is hitting old-fashioned mid-range jumpers. Now he corrals the ball. Nae'Qwan Cousins gives it right back to the forward near the midcourt line. Into the left corner, Nae'Qwan Cousins swings it back out up top, Perry. Perry on an angle dribble, straight down the paint, pops from 5. Doesn't get it to fall at first, but he gets the roll off of the backboard to make it 72-60. So 4 straight points for the Rams, courtesy DeJuan Perry, the transfer from Carson Newman Community College. Swing on the right side, Darius Huff. Into the lane he goes, powers through. Nelms floats from 5 and misses. Rebound, Gage Jesbeck. Now DeJuan Perry feeling the hot hand, takes the ball across his back. Now into the lane he goes, swings out Nelms, steps into a long 2. Yes! Stanthony Nelms now with 14 points, 74-60. As he hit that one from the left wing, probably could have stepped back for the extra point. Now 30-50 left to go. Shot for Nathan, drilled from the top of the key on the long 2. And now they call it a 3, but they're going to make sure they get this score right. 74-62 the score. Rams up by 12. And they're just making sure to get everything right. The scoreboard all situated. The Rams thought they were about to take a timeout. 3:47 left to go in the game. Rams still in command here, and what has kind of been a quiet dome in this game. Because of the fouls, and the Rams have really controlled it for most of it, even though the Knights have made it interesting at points. Nae'Qwan Cousins into the right wing, swings out top of the key, DeJuan Perry. Having that ball right near that logo. Perry almost picked by Andrew Rodriguez, and on the third try, the guard for SAU gets it. Outlet on the other end for Huff, and the fade route just goes right into the bench. Now the official ready to hand the ball off to Nae'Qwan Cousins. Randy Hernandez very frustrated as the inbounds pass tipped by Huff, picked away by Nathan, going straight to the hoop, misses, or rather hits the layup. Kind of a crazy swing of events there. Nae'Qwan Cousins did not see Huff. Jenkins swings out left corner. Gage Jesbeck pops it over to Cousins. Hard dribble and fouled in the lane. 74-64. And now Cousins will go to the line with a 1-and-1. That's the third foul on Carlos Heath. We had a couple of shots for Nae'Qwan Cousins. His second trip to the line tonight. He tried to complete that and 1 earlier on in the game and missed. He has 7 points, now trying to make it 8 with this shot here. Front end of a 1-and-1. Shoots and scores. Nobody was even stepping in the lane. And now he will have his second shot no matter what. 75-64. Anthony Nelms looking to not even put an arm in as the second shot bounces off the back iron, jumping up to get it, Darius Huff. 3:12 remaining in the game. Bluefield up by 11, 75-64, looking to find their 9th AAC victory of the year. Nathan bounces through the defense over to Easterling. Out of a double team in the right block. Looks for the hook shot and fails as Anthony Nelms got the rebound. Zigzagging straight to the basket. Passes left side. Nae'Qwan Cousins. One-arm dunk. Couldn't get it. He's fouled in the process. And Anthony Nelms was about to dap up everybody over in the student section. And unfortunately, Nae'Qwan Cousins just couldn't bring everybody out of their seats. So now it's 75-64. And Cousins goes right back to the line after going now 1 of 3 from the charity stripe. Well, Nelms still unselfishly giving it over to Cousins, the best dunker on the team, as Cousins hits the free throw this time. All of his team back on the other end. Rams up 76-64 now. Whistle blows, Rodriguez in. Twigger will replace him. 2:53 in the game as the Rams get a day off finally, as we might have a day off from school here at Bluefield College as well. Second shot falls for Cousins, and now it is 77-64. Concepcion checks in for Nae'Qwan Cousins, who now has 9 points. Rams up by 13, a roll in for Nathan. or Lathan rather, as he takes the ball right across midcourt. Lathan passes left side over to Carlos Heath. And into the right wing, a 13-point lead for the Rams. Lathan bounces over to Easterling, pops a long shot, and misses, bouncing in the corner. Now Easterling, hard jump stop, powers it off the backboard, and scores with the and one. Everything in the right block now has culminated in a foul. 77-66 going for the three-point play. And Bluefield not out of the woods yet. It looks like St. Andrews, even though they have kind of hung their heads for the past 5 minutes, if he makes this, they're only down by 10 with 2.5 minutes remaining. Easterling floats and scores, and just like that, it was 77-67. Timeout called by Bluefield with 2:38 left to go in the game. (77-67). St. Andrews has fought this back to a 10-point game. Bounce pass into the backcourt as Jeremiah Jenkins now has 20 points, feeds over to Jorge Concepcion, powers in the lane, layup doesn't fall, but he's fouled. And Concepcion carried that ball like a football, attempting the layup, and now that'll be a foul called on Andrew Rodriguez. So now is the time for Bluefield to really be lights out from the free throw line. They are only up by 10. They've led by as much as 20 in the second half, but Jorge Concepcion with 14 points now, trying to go 4 of 5 from the charity stripe with this shot here. He's already 3 of 4, and he's doing a pretty good job from the field in this game, 5 of 13. Really the story of this game, Jeremiah Jenkins with 20 points, second straight game with 22 or 20 points or more. Concepcion with a bounce, floats the free throw, and it rims out, popping out on the left side. So St. Andrews still not giving up as Twigger goes back into the game. Concepcion bends the knee, shoots, and once again follows through. 78-67, the lead back to 11 for the Rams with a flat 2:30 left to go in the game as the ball is picked up by Lathan, the point guard. Now trying to spread out Bluefield in that zone defense. Pass in the left corner, Heath spinning around the defense to Juan Perry. A hard head fake, zips top of the key. Lathan lets a long three go and misses. Loose ball tipped and corralled by Stan Nelms, trying to move fast in transition. Lost the ball, bumped out of bounds, off of the hands of himself. And Jorge Concepcion thought that might have been picked away by Ben Twigger, but instead it will go right back to St. Andrews on an ugly turnover. Rams still up by 11. Just 2:11 left to go in this one. On the top of the key, Heath working the ball around the arc. Overhead pass to Lathan. Enters inside the perimeter, bouncing the low block, stolen by Gage Jesbeck. What a play for the big man out of Richmond, Virginia. And with a minute 55 to go, St. Andrews can't afford any more turnovers. Jenkins pops from the free throw line, scores, and that's his second straight night with 22 points. 80-67 now the score. A minute 44 left to go in this game, and Bluefield hoping for the dagger here. St. Andrews needs to hit the big shots and hit them fast. Bounce in the right corner. Twigger with a prayer. Misses right corner three. Easterling with the rebound. Zips it back into Twigger. Down the lane he goes. Scoops with the right hand and gets the kiss off the glass to make it 80-69 off of the right block. Jenkins on the other end. Outlet Stan Nelms. And now it looks like SCU will be forced to trap these Bluefield Rams and try to foul them. They're not fouling just yet. A minute 15 left. Perry, hard bounce to Stan Nelms, pump off the backboard, and he just pounced it right off the window for the miss. 11-point lead, though, still for the Rams. 1:05 remaining. Into the lane goes Heath. Off the double clutch layup, he's fouled, and now it looks like he will have 2 shots. That is on Gage Espek. Stan Nelms had an open look and then just got a bit too excited, let the moment get ahead of him, and just ripped it right off the glass. That's the first foul for Gage Espek. And for Espek so far in this one has been scoreless, 0 of 1. First shot for Heath follows true and tickles the twine to make it 80-70. 1:02 remaining. Olatunji Ibafemi back into the game. Jorge Concepcion checks out. So a 10-point game, 1:02 on the game clock as Heath has that left foot on the line. Follows through with the left hand and scores. 80-71. Jordan Sanders into the game. Stan Nelms will inbounds as the lead is down to 9. Only the second time that this lead has been cut down to single digits as the Rams have the ball with a minute remaining. Nelms trying to get the ball across the timeline. Finally does with DeJuan Perry. Loose ends picked up by Sanders. Open look for the layup, and he rattles it through. 80-73 now. The lead only 7 with 49.4 seconds remaining. Trying to get it to Jenkins, the best free throw shooter for Bluefield. Nelms gets the ball across midcourt for DeJuan Perry, and now the Rams are trying to carry this out here. St. Andrews not fouling yet. Nyquan Cousins down the lane, bumping as he goes. Feeds Jenkins, pops from 12, and misses as the ball rolled around. Jenkins with a rebound, though, gets separation, floats, and misses again. Rebound Easterling. Shot clock off with a 7-point differential now. 23 seconds left to go in the game. Lathan splits the defense, hooks with the right hand and misses. Ibafemi with the rebound, outlet up to Nyquan Cousins, and he is fouled, likely trying to go for the dunk, and that might just do it. With 14.8 seconds remaining in the game, the Rams up by 7, and Nyquan Cousins looking for a couple of big free throws here. If this ends the way of Bluefield, it will likely send them to a 13-8 record and a 9-5 record in the AAC. Now Cousins in double figures already, misses the first free throw. That's the 4th foul on Darius Huff for St. Andrews, by the way, so Bluefield is in the double bonus. Well, Cousins ready to go. Now St. Andrews needs to score fast, down by 7. Cousins shoots and missed both free throws. Rebound Easterling. Now 13 seconds left, and Sanders taking the ball into the right wing. Has to shoot a 3. Lathan, the stutter step. Into the lane he goes. Step back long 2. Left wing, just front rim. Easterling picks up the pieces with the offensive board and gets the basket to fall. Timeout called with 4.1 seconds remaining. And Bluefield likely has this wrapped up. But they've led by as much as 20 and just kind of led up, really not playing defensively sound basketball like Richard Morgan loves them to play. And with about a minute left in this timeout, the Rams still relying on Jeremiah Jenkins. What a big first half he had. He was 7 of 10 from the field in the entire game and had 22 points. On the other end, a couple of players in double figures for the Knights. Calvin Ahume had 14 all in the first half. Jeremiah Easterling with 13, as well as Carlos Heath. And then Ben Schwigger with 11 points, going 3 of 8 from beyond the arc. Rams also relying on Jorge Concepcion as he had 15 points. Stanthony Nelms going 6 of 10 from the field in this one as well. Now you're seeing some highly elated Rams going back out on the floor, being a little bit frustrated here as they go back out onto the floor. 4.1 seconds remaining in this game. Nyquan Cousins thought he was going to inbounds the pass, but instead it will be the duties of Jorge Concepcion. Jeremiah Jenkins on the floor. They're going to likely try to get it to him. He's the best free throw shooter on the team. Concepcion shuffling down the baseline, feeds Jenkins, and immediately fouled with 3 seconds remaining in the game. So now Jenkins will try to ice this one up, and it will take a very unlikely finish for St. Andrews to try to at least tie up this game. They're down by 5 with 3 seconds left, and for St. Andrews, it probably has been a frustrating year for the Knights. Only 3 of 14 on their season and 3 of 12 in the AAC. Jenkins trying to make it 23 points, and does with the first free throw. So now he is 3 of 3 from the line, and 81-75. You have to be impressed by Jeremiah Jenkins in these past 2 games. Checking in, Julian Mobley for the first time for St. Andrews, likely to only play 3 seconds in this game. Jenkins trying to make it 24 points. Shoots and scores to make it 82-75. 3 seconds left. Rolled into Lathan. And he will finally pick up the ball near midcourt. Underhands Twigger, lets it go at the buzzer. Front rim miss, and the Rams hold on 82-75 and improve to 13-8 on the year with a 9-5 record in the AAC. And Bluefield, by leading as much as 20, really able to find that confidence right there at the end of the game still, but SAU picking up on some bad defensive decisions for Bluefield. Next to play on Saturday, both the women and the men going up against Reinhardt University. Hope you can tune in here on the Rams Digital Sports Network. But for now, Rams behind a 24-point performance from Jeremiah Jenkins win this one 82-75.